And who were these new people called into Christian community, into community with those who followed Jesus, who had first followed Jesus and who came to follow him later? They were the hated, despised Samaritans, the black African court official known to us as the Ethiopian eunuch. Cornelius was included, the Roman soldier. Women were included who were second-class citizens at best, even true of Lydia, who apparently was a successful businesswoman and head of household. The group included Saul, who searched out Christians to persecute and kill them, and who was renamed Paul after a major transformative experience. There was the jailkeeper, who held captive Paul and Silas when their ministry disturbed some folks and got them landed in jail. And there was Simon, a tanner, an occupation considered unclean by many followers of Judaism in that day. A host of folks, named and unnamed, joining in community to begin church, all bringing their own ways of looking at things, particular understandings formed out of their own particular social locations, and unique gifts. Unique gifts and perspectives and understandings to be used for the whole community into which they were being called by God. In our own day, believe it or not, the Christian church is growing, adding more to its numbers day by day, at least in countries around the world and in immigrant communities within our own country. Sisters and brothers joining us with unique perspectives and gifts to share. As we continue moving forward with being church in the 21st century, the ground is shifting, just as it always has. Church is changing, or at least if the North American so-called mainline church is going to survive, change must come, and we must continue our tradition of reformed and always reforming, being relevant in this time just as the church has always tried to be. Now, this change can be wonderfully transforming, a fantastic transformative experience, requiring much from us. But the questions facing us are similar to those facing the church as it began and grew rapidly at the very start. How do we welcome into equal partnership those different from ourselves? How do we relate to different faith traditions in our increasingly pluralistic society? How do we engage the cultural and political empire in which we are immersed? How we respond in the face of these questions will determine our future. In a few moments, all of us will have the opportunity to reaffirm our baptism, recommitting ourselves to promises and commitments we have made in the past. Think carefully to what you are committing yourself. In baptism, each one of us is called out by name to bring our unique individualism into this community, a set of gifts uniquely ours, which only we can bring, which should never be denied or hidden, but used for the benefit of the whole community into which we have been called. In a few moments also, we will ordain and install newly elected officers to lead this church as we continue moving into the 21st century with all of the challenges before us. Each one has different gifts and perspectives that will be needed to guide this community of faith and to make the decisions that will need to be made. I ask officers to think carefully about the commitments you are making, the leadership roles you are taking on. I also ask congregation members who elected you to think carefully about the promises you are making to support and respect the leadership of those you have elected as they lead this congregation. May God guide all of us into keeping our promises, using our gifts, and to strengthening the Christian community. Thanks be to God. Amen.